Hood County, Texas.
And the name of your parents?
John Henry Wilhoit and Mary Lou Backus Wilhoit.
And the name of your spouse?
W.J. George, initial only.
And where did you grow up?
I spent the first 5 years of my life in Hood County, Texas, and I was raised in Portales, New Mexico. Went from the 2nd grade through high school in Portales. And married W.J. George on September the 4th, 1948.
A while back.
Lived in Seminole for 38 years and in Rio Dosa 15 years, and now I've been in Slayton for 13 months.
I didn't realize y'all were living in Rio Dosa that long.
Yeah, we were there 15 years. Exactly.
Wow.
We moved the last weekend of June, and we moved up there, and then we moved the last weekend of June.
And you moved back. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Do you have either special book or a favorite toy or a game that you played when you were a child that you remember when growing up?
Gracious. I didn't get to have a favorite toy or a book. We played trucks with Billy Wayne, and he always promised that when we got through playing trucks, he would play what
you wanted to play. But then he didn't.
But we never did get around to that.
Is there maybe a specific smell or a sound that takes you back to your childhood? Something that you hear or smell that reminds you?
A smell or a sound? I've got quite a few memories of my childhood, all right. I don't know that they're connected with
A smell or a
smell
sound.
or a sound.
Well, they may not be. Whenever I smell a horse, it reminds me of my granddad, of your dad, because it seemed like that I don't have a whole lot of memories because he was so young, or I was so young whenever he passed away, but when I smell a horse, it reminds me of him because he always smelled like a horse.
I loved his horses.
But there may not be.
From sure enough childhood, I remember Ray's first haircut. And I can remember that the time that Billy Wayne talked me into getting into the crock jam jar, and I got a bee in my mouth this time.
Oh.
And then we were getting into something in the kitchen, and he dropped the butcher knives and cut my toe pretty deep. So, and then I can definitely remember Grandpa Wilhoit, the night that we left Hood County. He come around to the side of the car I was in, and he said, this is that truck. I can't remember what the vehicle was. And he whispered to me that my cat was in a tow sack in the truck.
Oh.
And my mother and daddy didn't want to let me move my cat. But he disappeared real quick after we moved. So he probably tried to come home. He was so far away that he never make it back.
Well, you kind of answered my next question, which was share a memory about your grandparents or an older person that you loved. Mm-hmm. That kind of answers that question, so you got to have it. That was good.
Grandma Wilhoit would tell you that I spent many an hour talking to my cat. And then the summer I was 6 years old, I went and spent half of the summer with one set of grandparents and then half of the summer with the other set. And Grandma said she'd send me to the neighbor's house because I could just talk her ears off. So,
oh, that's funny. You may have kind of answered this one a little bit too. Do you recall something that you got in trouble for as a child, either at school or at home?
well, I tell you one time, and again, Billy Wayne and I were always into something. One time we blew in the gas barrel, and that was back when all gas was leaded. And I guess you'd call them almost a seizure, but then it was an illusion of snakes. I couldn't see anything but snakes. But we were listening to our echo in that. We'd holler in that barrel and got enough fumes that
Makes you
messed up my head, so that's what's wrong with me now.
surely didn't have lasting effects.
Oh, well, I'm sure it did. Because you know how dopey these people are nowadays.
Yeah, I think it takes more than one exposure to get to that first shape.
Well, I had fallen out of the hayloft down there in Pitt County. Now I can definitely remember that, and it knocked me out. And Mother had done the laundry that day and had let her rinse water, wash water was still in the tubs. And when I came to, they had put me to the
Sticking you in the water.
And so I did.
Wow.
I fell off the boxcar one time, and then I couldn't be around gasoline that day after I got overdose.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Do you remember your first Bible? Where you got it and when you got it?
I don't remember one before I graduated from high school, but Grandma Wilhoit sent me a Bible for a graduation present.
What was your first job outside the home?
Oh, gracious. You mean when we all worked at the hay baler with Daddy, and we always worked in the whatever field, but then the first public job I had was just after I graduated from high school. I went to work at the Cosy. No. I forgot what the name of that cafe was, but a drive-in cafe out on Clovis Highway.
Do you remember what your wages were?
Gracious. Now I can remember that Bill and I had worked as kids. We always worked together. I can remember working, I think, for 35 cents a day. And I can remember the first dress I actually bought for myself. That's what I paid for it, was 35 cents for a ready-made dress.
What color was it?
It was a plaid, but I can't.
Plaid.
I'm sure predominantly red, because
Yeah.
not everything.
Good color. How did you meet WJ? How old were you, and how long did you date?
We met at that cafe where I worked, and he was working in the oil field, and I was working there. He would come there to eat supper every evening. He was seeing me because I wouldn't wait tables or I wouldn't car hop. I was forced to a time or two, but I was a dishwasher, and he would see me in the kitchen and ask the boss to meet me. And we didn't date but 3 months. So that's where I met him, and that's how long it took.
Well, I guess it's lasted, so that's a good.
Yeah, 54 years.
Do you recall a person or event or a tragedy that affected your life that changed?
Not really. Not right off that I can think of.
Nothing major.
Major.
That's good. What's left in your life that you'd still like to do? Anything you haven't done yet that you'd like to do?
Not really.
That's good.
I've had a pretty satisfying life, and of course, my kids and my grandkids and my husband take up a lot of time.
Well, it kind of ties to the next question. Would you change anything about your life if you had it to do over again?
I just wished I was smarter. And could change any mistake or any time that I have made someone unhappy. Because I've always wanted to please everybody I could please.
Sure. Well, my last question is, how would you like to be remembered?
Ooh, that is hard. Just as myself, I guess. Because I've done the best I knew how to do.
Sure. Well, I think you'll be remembered with good memories.
Thank you. Thank you.
And smile. Well, that's all. I'll go find some other culprit.
Oh boy.
Thank you for your time.
I feel sorry for him.
I appreciate you letting me record you after just getting out of the hospital a couple hours ago. It's not very fair, huh?
Yeah, it's a little difficult. But I wanted to come so bad. I said I haven't missed one of them.
Yeah.
And,
I know. I couldn't hardly believe y'all weren't going to be here, but
well,
I mean, if you had an excuse, you had a good one.
I had talked to my surgeon was out of town, but I talked to the foreign nurse practitioner that's in with me, and she told me Tuesday that I could come.
Good.
Then I had this spell,